All right. Hopefully it works. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to be, give me 1 second, everybody. It works. Okay, so welcome. I first want to say that, it took me a few minutes to see what, like, in order to find something to prepare for Algebra 2. And I'm going to be doing this packet or this assignment that is designed to prepare for Algebra 2. And just give me 1 second. I think it's this one. Yes, it is this one. And let me actually, I'm going to be doing the problems on my OneNote. For some reason, the other OneNote isn't working again, and I just decided to do it this way. I'm gonna get these off because these were some that I made up, but it's just a lot easier to have something that's already pre-made. Also, another thing is that if anybody does want to find like the basically the link for the assignment or the assignment that I'm working on is in the description down below. So if anybody is, if you want to look at it, you can. I believe I did put it, if I'm correct. It should be, hold on. Let me just make sure it is actually put in the description. Hopefully it is. Give me 1 second, everybody. I'm just gonna look at to make sure that it is put in correctly. Yeah, it is. Okay, yes, it is. So, if at any point in this live stream, I'm gonna be probably live streaming for maybe about 2 hours. I'll try to go as fast as I can, but also try to explain it as best as I can. I don't know if I'm gonna get through all of this. Hopefully, I'll do as much of it as I can. But I can't guarantee that I'll do all of it in this stream. But this is for those that are heading into Algebra 2. If you're heading into Algebra 2, this is mostly for you, in order for you to prepare for your Algebra 2 class. And these are mostly I believe these are the objectives that the school made up in order to prepare. So basically apply the appropriate arithmetic operations and algebraic properties. So this is simplifying polynomial expressions. And then it says needed to simplify an algebraic expression. So like, distributive property and associative property and commutative property, etc. And simplify polynomial expressions using addition and subtraction. So like how to add and subtract polynomials. That's mostly what, I believe that's what it's saying. And how to multiply a monomial with a polynomial. So like, 2x times 3x squared plus 4x minus 1, right? And then the other objective here is how to solve multi-step equations. So, basically, when you have an equation where you have mostly kind of like a linear equation where you have like 2 times x minus 3 equals 3 times x minus 2 plus 1 or something, and you have to do multiple steps to solve it. That's what that's saying. And a literal equation, solving a literal equation for a specific variable. So like when basically that's just to strengthen your algebra skills as far as, like when you're solving for a specific variable. So like a equals 1/2 base times height, or a equals 1/2 b times h, and you're solving for h. So problems like that. And then the rules of exponents, so the laws of exponents, so like the power rule, the power law of exponents, the power property, the product property, the quotient property, and also the zero property, as well as the negative power property. We'll go over all of that. I'll show what that is when I get to it. And then evaluate powers that have 0 or negative exponents. So like 3 to the 0, or like 3x to the 0 power, or like 3x to the -1, 3x to the -4, etc. So that's what that means. I'm just like listing everything that this involves, and then multiply two binomials. So like 2x plus 1 times 3x minus 2. That's another one. We have to know how to do that for Algebra 2, because you do that a lot in Algebra 2, especially when you're, mostly with polynomials. You have to learn how to multiply polynomials, etc., in order to actually, in order to be successful. And also identify the greatest common factor of the terms of a polynomial expression. So like, how do I say it? Like, basically this is so you can know how to factor polynomials. So how to find the greatest common monomial factor. And I'll explain what that is when we get there. It says express a polynomial as a product of a monomial and a polynomial. So like, basically factoring polynomials. How do we factor it so that we get it to a product of two monomials, or two polynomials, right? That's what that means. And I'm not sure what this one really means. So I believe they want you to show how it would look on a graph if it's factored. I'm not sure exactly what this third one means. Find all factors of the quadratic expression. So like, basically factoring quadratics, right? And also graphing it by showing that yes, they are the factors. I believe that's what that means. And also simplifying radical expressions. So like, how to how to simplify square roots, cubed roots, nth roots, with algebraic expressions. So like, also with with variables, and also graphing lines. This is one of the most basic skills that we have to know how to do, because it is probably one of the first types of functions that you learned when you were in Algebra 1, and you have to know how to do this because this is a huge fundamental skill that we have to know how to do, especially when we get to like piecewise functions. I don't know if they do piecewise functions in Algebra 2, but if they do, yes, you have to know how to do graph linear functions, right? So that's a very important skill. And also determining equation of a line, and also graphing a linear equation using, a variety of methods. So like, how to graph it in standard form, how to graph it in point slope form, slope intercept form, etc. And also determining the equation of a line. So basically, when they give you a graph and the line is graphed, you have to know what the equation of that line is going to be. And this is regression and so basically using a graphing calculator, and also, this is one of the, I will say, it's one of the trickier skills, because especially when it gets to the real world applications, it can be a little bit tricky, but the very important thing is that you actually, this is kind of because it's very technological, so you have to know how to do it. So those are all the skills that this packet has, right? And so we're gonna get started on number 1. So the good thing about this is that they tell you just based off of, they give you examples, and that's really good because, that way you can use these examples to kind of help you out with the problems that you're about to do. So we're going to start on the first one. We have, and I'm so sorry guys, if you guys hear a dog barking, I am so sorry. I don't know why she gets out of control a lot of the time. I don't know. But anyways, give me 1 second. So the first problem, we're just going to go ahead and copy it down. We have 8x minus 9y. And then we also have plus 16x plus 12y, right? And we're asked to simplify this as best as possible, right? So the very important thing here that we have to understand is combining like terms. So combining like terms is one of the it's a very important skill to learn, right? So the one thing that you do for this to simplify it, you look at your like terms. So you have 8x and you have a 16x, and then you also have a negative 9y and a 12y, right? So we have and you can write them down in front of each other. Give me 1 second, guys. I am so sorry. Give me 1 second. Okay, everybody, I am so sorry. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so, the problem that I was doing was this one, right? So, you have to combine like terms in this problem, right? And let me just make sure. Okay, so, you have 8x plus 16x, and then you also have negative 9y plus 12y, right? And these are honestly like they're like right in front of each other, right? And so you're just literally adding them. It's literally just adding, right? you have, so 16 plus 8 is 24, so you have 24x, and then negative 9 plus 12 is 3, so it's 24x plus 3y, and that would be your answer for this one, right? Let me look at the next one. So number 2, let me just write it down very quickly. Give me 1 second. Just gonna go ahead and alrighty, so we have this 14y plus 22 minus 15y squared plus 23y, right? So this one, it's the same thing. So your like terms are 14y, 23y, and then 22, and then, well, 22 is a constant, so it's not a like term, but it is considered an algebraic term in this case, but it is not a like term. So I'm just listing out the terms, right? And there's also, give me 1 second, negative 15y squared, right? So we want to simplify this, right? So we have, so obviously there's 14y plus 23y, and then there's plus 22 minus 15y squared. So then we have these two, so 14y plus 23y, that's really just, you're just adding the numbers, it's 37y, and then we have plus 22 minus 15y squared. Now, what I really highly recommend is you do it in order of descending exponents. So anytime you have an exponent, so this is an exponent, so descending exponents are like y cubed, y squared, y to the first, and then dot 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 dot, y to the n minus 1, right? So usually when they write polynomials, they usually do it in the way that it's in order of the little numbers. So the little numbers usually are every time you go further, they're decreasing. So like the way that I would write this is negative 15y squared plus 37y plus 22. And this would be my answer. Now, some teachers do accept the answer being like, you know, in this other form where like, you know, it's like this, but sometimes, or most of the time I would say, they want you to like, they want to make sure you understand that when you write a trinomial, that all the, you know, basically when it has a variable, that all the expressions are in descending exponents. So that is how you would do that one. And if I'm taking long, guys, yes, I apologize. I just really want to make sure that this is explained very well. And I don't know, like I said, I don't think I will go over this entire packet all at once in this stream, but I will do as much of it as I can, and hopefully, and maybe tomorrow I will continue with this packet. So the 3rd problem, or actually, hold on. number 3, okay, so number 3 says, so 5n minus 3 minus 4n, right? And there is a negative on the outside of this parentheses, right? So the way that you would do this one is you have to do what is called distributive properties. So like these, it's just combining like terms. So this is where distributive property comes in. So distributive property, so let me just quickly explain what this is when you have a number a, so you have a times the quantity, or I'll do it this way. A times the quantity, b plus or minus c. This is really just ab. So it's really just a, b plus or minus a, c, right? So if we have a negative, now if there is a negative, you have negative of a minus b, this is really just negative a plus b. So this can simplify as 5n, and you're going to distribute. So you're going to minus 3 minus a negative 4n, right? So this ends up being 5n minus 3 plus 4n. So now look at your like terms. Your like terms are 5n and 4n. So then you have 5n plus 4n minus 3. So then this becomes 9n minus 3. Okay? And that is how you would do it. Number 4, right? Number 4. So let me look at number 4. And if I keep pausing to copy the answer or the problem, guys, I am sorry. I don't have, like, I have this. So, I would do it on my Microsoft Edge, but the thing is that for some of these problems, as I go along, it's going to ask me to be graphing it, and that's why I rather use OneNote to do this. Because then there are problems that I'm going to have to graph, and yeah. So, number 4 says negative 2. So, negative 2 times 11b minus 3. Was it minus 3? Yes. So, we have... So, again, you're going to use distributive property. This is... I'm going to do this, right? And then this is going to be negative 22b minus negative 2 times negative 3. Or, I'm sorry. It's going to be... So it's going to be negative 2 plus negative 2 times negative 3. So basically, so really you can do this a few ways. You can say that this, so this is equal to negative. Let me just go ahead and use a couple of colors. So this is negative, and then you have 2 times 11b, and then you're going to have a minus, or really it's going to be negative quantity 2 So really, it looks something like this. Hold on. You can look at it that way if that helps. Because I know, like, sometimes we get confused with the -2, but anytime you have something like this, you can just rewrite it like this, and this can be a little bit easier. It works either way, But basically, you're going to do negative 2 times 11b, and then you're going to do and then since you have a negative here and a negative here, negative times negative is positive, so you're going to say plus 2 times 3. Or you can say plus negative 2 times negative 3. But you can also do it this way, where you put the parentheses literally on the outside, and you can do the inside like this. You have negative bracket, and then you have 22b minus 6, and then you can distribute your negative 22b plus 6, and look, and if I finish this off, I will get negative 22b plus 6, which is literally the exact same thing that I got here, right? So you can do it either way. It doesn't really, there's not really, you know, like, these are the two ways that you can do it if you would want, right? So number 5, let's go to number 5. So this one says 10q, so actually, hold on. I'm going to use 10y instead, because I don't want anybody to confuse that with a 9. But we have 10q, or 10y. I'm just going to say the q is equal to y. Again, in reality, you would use, or actually, I'll just use q. I'll use q, but 10q times 16x plus 11, right? So you're going to do distributive property, and this will give you 10 times 16 times q plus 10 times q times 11. Because again, if, for example, if I have AB times AX, or CX plus D, this is really ABCX plus ABD. And if I label this, so I can color code this the following. So I can say 10q times 16x plus, and I can do 11. Now I can do, I would do the x as a different color as well, but I mean, like that would be fine. But it would look like the following. So it would be like 10 times q, and then you would multiply 16 times x, and then plus, it would be 10q times 11, right? Like that. So then you can rewrite this like this. So you can say 10q times 16 times x plus 10q times 11. So this would be 10, so again it would be 10 times 16 times x times q plus 10 times 11 times q. So this would be 160 qx plus 110. I believe it's 110. Yes, it is. plus 110q. And, I mean, if they want you to factor it, the way that you would factor it is you would say, well, actually, no, you wouldn't factor it because this would be your answer. They literally just want you to multiply it out. So this would be your answer for this one. So number 6. So we have negative the quantity 5x minus 6. Now again, if I have negative a, so if I have negative the quantity a minus b, this is negative a plus b, right? So this would be negative 5x plus 6. The reason why is because we have negative a minus b, so this would be equal to negative a and then minus negative b. So this would be negative a minus negative 1 times b, which is negative a, and then negative of negative 1 is plus 1 times b, which is negative a plus b. So that's how that property is proven. So that's why we do it this way, right? So number 7. Okay, this one we have, okay, so we have 3. So 3 times 18, so it would be, hold on. Give me 1 second, 1 second. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. So we have second. So we have 3 times 18z minus 4w plus 2 times 10z minus 6w, okay? So you're going to do distributive property. You have, so it's going to be 3 times 18 minus 3 times 4w plus 2 times 10z, distributive property over here, minus 2 times 6w. So then this 18z times 3 is really, so 18 times 3, that's 54, so this is 54z. And then this is really just negative 12z. And then this is positive, so it's going to be plus 20z. And then we have this, which is negative, so minus 12w. So now you combine your like terms. You have 54z, negative 12z, and then you also have, and you also have a 20z right here. Or I'm sorry, this is negative 12w. Excuse me. Negative 12w. My bad. So we have 54z minus 24w plus 20z, right? So now, so again, these are like terms, right? And the reason why I put negative 12w, so we have this here, like that, right? That's why I put it that way. Let me make sure my live chat is on. Okay. So, okay. So, here, so the way that I got, so you notice here that I basically got negative 24W right over here because we have this and then we also had this. That's how I got negative 24W, right? And then I have plus 20Z. So 20Z is also a like term here. And by the way, let me just to make it a little more clear, I'm going to use another highlighter. So like this, and this is where I got negative 24W. So we have 54Z plus 20Z minus 24W. So we're going to go ahead and rewrite that. So then we have 54Z plus 20Z. That is really just... And if you're wondering why, that's because it's Z times 54 plus 20. That's why. You know, that's just in case if anybody doesn't understand why it's like that. So, that's why. So, this 54 plus 20 is 74. So then we have 74Z minus 24W. Okay. And that is how you simplify that. Number 8. So okay, so number 8, give me 1 second. So number 8 says 8C plus 3 plus 12 times 4C minus 10. So give me 1 second. So we have 8C plus 3. So 8C plus 3 plus 12 times 4C minus 10, right? So you don't have to have the parentheses here. You can literally just say 8C plus 3, as long as there's like no negative in here, like outside of this, then it's okay to just take the parentheses off. And then for this one, we're doing distributive properties. So we have 12 times 4C minus 10. So this is going to be plus 48C minus 120. Because 12 times 10 is 120, so it's negative 120, right? And then we're going to go ahead and look at our like terms. So we have 8C and we have 48C, and then we have a 3 and negative 120, right? So if we put those together, we have 8C plus 48C plus 3 minus 120. So it should look something like this, right? And then we just combine like terms at this point. So we have 56C, and then 3 minus 120 is just negative 117. So this would be our answer. Okay. Let me make sure. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. I just want to make sure that I can still see the chat. So, let's see here. Number 9. So, if we look at number 9, and let me just minimize this a little bit. Number 9 says 9 times 6x minus 2 minus 3 times 9x squared minus 3, right? So then we have, so again, you're going to do distributive property. So we have 54x minus 18 minus 27x squared plus 9, because you have negative 3 times 9 is negative 27. So negative 3 times 9x squared is negative 27x squared. And let me go ahead and just show you guys what I did. So 9 times 6x minus 9 times 2, or if I should say plus 9 times negative 2, and then minus 3 times 9x squared minus 3 times negative 3. So it would be like this, and you would do, so this is 54x, this is negative 18, this is negative 27x squared, and then this is 9, positive 9. So we have 54x minus 18 minus 27x squared plus 9. So then you can combine like terms, and you will have, so again, label your like terms. You have a negative 18, a 9, and then you just have a 54x and a negative 27x squared. Now, like I said in the previous example, make sure that you do it in terms of descending exponents. So you have negative 27, be negative 27 x squared plus 54x, and then negative 18 plus 9 is really just negative 9. Now, you can, if they ask you to factor it, you can, but since it just says to simplify, I mean, to be honest, it's asking us to do it with distributive properties, so I don't think that it's really necessary for me to actually do this. But yeah, if they were to ask you to factor it, then yeah, you would factor it. But since it's just asking us to do that, I don't really have to factor anything. Now, number 10 says negative the quantity y minus x, and then plus 6 times 5x plus 7, right? So this would be negative y plus x plus 30x plus 42, right? So this will be negative y plus, and these are my like terms, so this is 31x, and then plus 42. So it doesn't matter which one you put first. If you say 31x minus y plus 42, that's okay too. But these two would be two possible answers to this problem. Okay. Okay, so solving equations. So this is another part of the problem. So this is like a linear, so basically there's linear equations, and then you know, it goes on to literal equations. So linear equations are always so basically this is another part. So this is part 2, which is solving, or rather just linear equations. Right. So so basically, I mean, I'm not really going to go over the concept, but I will go over examples. Now, usually linear equations have one solution, or they can have no solution. Now, in terms of, they cannot have like, the only type of equation that can have two solutions and where it looks linear would be absolute value. But this is absolute value and linear equations are really, they're pretty different. So we're just focusing on linear equations. So the first one that I want to do for linear equations is 5x minus 2 equals 33. Okay. Now, to solve for x, what you have to do is you have to add 2 on both sides, because you have to get rid, your goal here is to get this by itself. So we add 2 on both sides, this cancels out, and we are left with 5x equals 35, right? So basically, once we do that, we're almost done. All we have to do is divide both sides by 5. And then these two cancel out, and we have x equals, so, and then 35 divided by 5 is just 7. Okay. So this would be my final answer for that one. Now, number 2 says 140 equals 4x plus 36. So it's the same thing. What we do is we go ahead and we subtract. So this time, because we're adding, we're going to subtract 36 on both sides, because again, we want to get rid of one side, right? So this cancels out. So then 140 minus 36, I believe it is 104, if I'm correct. So 104 equals 4x. And then lastly, to get x by itself, we just divide by 4 on both sides. And if I go to my calculator, because I don't remember exactly what 104 divided by 4 is, give me 1 second. It is 26. So your answer for this would be x equals 26. And you can always verify that it's true. So like, you can always check to see if it's true. So like, for this one, if I have 5, so if I do it like this, right? And I said that x equals 7, then I can plug 7 in for x. So I can say 5 times 7 minus 2 equals 33. So does that equal 33? So I say 5 times 7, that's 35, and then minus 2 is equal to 33. So then 33 equals 33. Right? And then the same thing for this one. If I say 140 is equal to 4, and I put 26 for x, so is this equal to 4 times 26 plus 36? I say, okay, well, 140, and then, so basically is equal to, and then 4 times 26, that's 104. So then we have 104 plus 36, and then if I add 36 here, so we have 10 over here, and then 0, 1 over here, and that's equal to 140, so 140 equals 140, and it's true. So we verified that it's true, right? You can check your answer if you are really unsure whether or not you're doing it right. And you can also do it with a calculator. Like, you can check your answer with a calculator if you have a scientific graphing calculator. I would just enter it exactly as it is, and I would just plug whatever x equals to with parentheses. So the third one says 8 times 3x minus 4 equals 196. Now, you can, I mean, if 196 is divisible by 8, you can divide both sides by 8 and do it that way. So, but sometimes it's not, I mean, sometimes it doesn't work, because sometimes what happens is that the problem gets a little more difficult and sometimes it's not divisible. So what you have to do is, it's just better to do distributive properties sometimes. So this will be 24x minus 32 is equal to 196, and that way you can just do it that way, and all you have to do is you just add 32 on both sides. So you have 8 here, and then so this is 228 is equal to 24x, and then you divide by 24 on both sides, and if you use your calculator and you check what 228 divided by 24 is, it is about 9.5, so your answer would be 9 5/10. Now sometimes if you're doing a multiple choice exam, sometimes it'll give it to you in like, how do you call it, like an improper fraction, or I forgot if it's mixed number or improper fraction, where you basically have like something like 5 over 4, 3 over 2, 24 over 7, right? So if you don't know how to convert this to, I mean, if you're not sure what this equals to as far as like improper goes, what you can do is you can do what's called division. So you can so basically, or actually you can do the following. You can rewrite this as 9 and then 5 over 10. 9 and 5 over 10. And what you do is you would just go ahead and do times here, so 9 times 10, and then plus 5. So this would be equal to 9 times 10 plus 5, and then you would put it all over 10. So then this will be 95 over 10. And just to make sure, and again, you can use your calculator to see whether or not 95 is divisible by 2, and it's not. So, or if it's divisible by 5, and it is, so you can simplify it, and so you can divide by 5 on top and bottom, and then you can do, so this is 19, and then this is 2. So in reality, this can simplify to 19 over 2. Now, if you know how to, how do I say it? Like, if you know how to simplify fractions really well, you can do this, like 228 over 24, and you can, if you have a scientific calculator that gives it to you in reduced form, so like if you have a TI Inspire or something, then you can just enter it in and it'll give it to you in reduced form. So it'll literally, like, if I literally enter this in the calculator, it'll give me this as the answer, 19 over 2. But sometimes they don't allow you to use calculator, so you kind of have to, you kind of have to know how to reduce the fraction. So if I were to do this without doing all of this like stuff over here, what I would do is I would just say, okay, well, you can divide by 2, so this will give you 114 over 12, and then you can go ahead and again, like, you can say, okay, well, is this divisible by 2? You can do long division, and then you can do divide by 2 on top and bottom, and you can do 57 over 6, and then you can keep going. So like, you can say, is 57 divisible by 2? And it's not. Or is 57 divisible by 6? Because, I mean, by 3, because I know that 6 is equal to 3 times 2, so you can do like that, and it is. So basically this will be, if you divide by 3 on top and bottom, you will get 19 over 2, which is exactly what we got over here. So my point here is that you have to know, like, literally before you get into Algebra 1, you have to understand how to convert, like, improper to mixed and mixed to improper fraction. So like mixed number to improper fraction and improper fraction to mixed number. Because those are, when you don't have a calculator, or when they don't let you use a calculator, those are the skills that you have to do in order to, like, know what it's equal to. So, yeah, that was, I know this one took a little bit longer than usual, but that's just how it is. And if you understand everything about improper fraction and mixed number and how to convert from one to the other, then that is great. If not, that is exactly why I explained it the way that I did, because sometimes when you do these kind of problems, they will not let you use a calculator to do that, right? You have to do it by hand. Like, they won't let you, like, literally, like, graph it and see what the answer is without showing any work, or even do numerical calculations. So the next one, and let me just look at so we have number 4, I believe it's number 4. So number 4 says 45x minus 720 plus 15x equals 60, right? And I believe after this section, guys, I mean, since it's only, I believe it's only 4 sections in this part, or in this whole packet, I'm probably, after this section, I'm probably going to continue tomorrow. So yeah, this is probably the last section that I will be going over. But like I said, you can always let me know if you have any questions. So to solve this one, excuse me, to solve this one, what you have to do is you have to combine like terms. So this one, you have 45x, you have 15x, and then you also have a negative 720 here. So then you have, so then 45 plus 15, that should be 60x, and then minus 720 equals 60. So then you add 720 to both sides, and then doing that, and then doing that, you will get that 60x is equal to, and then it should be 780. So then you then divide by 60 on both sides, and like I said, give me 1 second, guys. So like I said, if you don't, like, if they don't let you use a calculator, one of the ways to know how to do this, and the good thing is that anytime you have a 0, you can cross it out. So this makes it a little bit easier. So 60x, or I'm sorry, x is really 78 over 6. And if you know how to do long division, you can do long division. So you have 6 times 1 is 6, and then you're left with 18, and then 6 times 3 is 18. So then you do long division like that, and then you would go ahead and just do it that way. So then your answer would be x equals 13. And again, you can always check to see if it's true. But yes, it is, because I mean, I've done these a lot, and I can check it. So let's just go ahead and check it. So if I check it, give me 1 second. If I check it, I say 45 times 13 is 720 plus 15 times 13 equals 60. So then if you actually do this, if you actually do this with your calculator and you check it, you can check to see whether or not it's true. And doing this, you will get, so basically, if I do this with a calculator, 45 times 13, that is 585, and then minus 720, and then plus, and then I will do 15 times 13, and that is 195. So then, if we do negative 720 plus, or actually, if we do 585 plus 195, that will be 780, and then we just do minus 720. And then if we literally do it by hand, we can say that this is equal to 60, which is true. And that is how you know that this is your answer. That is how you know that, yes, you did it correctly. Number 5. Oops, sorry guys. Number 5, let me just go ahead and go over here and so number 5 says the following. 132 equals 4 times 12x minus 9. So again, you're going to do distributive property. Now, you can, if it is divisible, you can divide by 4 on both sides. But again, I highly recommend for those that, you don't like working with fractions, or you don't like doing numbers, you don't like making it more complicated for yourself, just do distributive property. So you have 132 is equal to 4 times 12x, and then plus 4 times negative 9. So then this would be 132 is equal to 36x, or I'm sorry, 48x, and then minus 36. And then what you would do is you would do the same exact thing that we've been doing. Add 36 to both sides. And then we have 2 plus 6, that's 8, 3 plus 3 is 6, and then 1 is left over here, is equal to 48x. And then this side cancels out, and then we just divide both sides by 48 to get x by itself. And again, if they don't let you use calculator, you can always reduce it on your own. Because the reason why they teach you how to reduce fractions and how to like multiply fractions and all this arithmetic is so that you are successful when this stuff comes back. Because trust me, when you do reducing fractions and multiplying fractions and dividing fractions and all this other stuff, it does come back. It does come back when you go to Algebra 1 and when you also go to like Algebra 2, and you just do it forever once you move forward in math, right? So literally reducing fractions like this is a huge like fundamental skill. Like it is one of the most basic skills that you have to know how to do for when you do when you get into like Algebra 1 and any, or even if you're getting into like, you know, yeah, like if you're getting into algebra or college algebra, you have to know how to do this. So you would reduce the fractions. So we can divide by 8 on both sides, or on top and bottom. So we have 21 over 6. And then we can, again, divide by 3 on top and bottom. And we will get 7 over 2. So then this, our answer will be x equals 7 over 2 for this one. Okay, so just 5 more of these guys, and then I will end the stream, only because, well, yeah, I mean, it's already been a while, and, yeah. So, I will continue, I mean, after this, I will continue doing, like, literal equations, tomorrow, but, I'm gonna just finish off the rest of these. So, number 6 says the following. So, we have 198 equals 154 minus 7x, or I'm sorry, plus 7x minus 68. Right, so then we combine like terms, first of all, because on the right side we have 2 terms that are like terms, so we have to rewrite the problem so that, you know, those terms are simplified. So 154 minus 68, and again, you can either do it by hand, if they don't let you, if they don't let you use a calculator, you can do it by hand. If they do let you use a calculator, you can do it using a calculator. So this would be 6, and then this would be 8, and then we have 0 here. So really, your answer would be 86. So this would be 86 plus 7x. And then you would subtract 86 on both sides. And doing so, this cancels out. So basically we have 8 minus 6, that's 2. 9 minus 8, that's 1. And then the 1 just is left over. And then we're going to make this equal to 7x. So then the last thing that you have to do is actually divide by 7 on both sides. So then we're going to have dividing by 7. And again, you can either do it by hand. So if I do it by hand, 112 divided by 7, I will say times 1. And then I do 11 minus 7, that's 4, and then my 2 is left over, so I bring my 2 down. 42 divided by 7, that is going to be 6, and then I do and then my remainder is 0. So x would be 16, right? Again, this is only like the division part, like everything. I'm only doing it by hand, only because you know, the thing is that for some problems, it just depends like whether or not they let you use a calculator, as far as like, you know, as far as like as far as exams go. So that's why you have to kind of understand how to, you know, you have to find ways to make it easier. But if you don't know how to like multiply or how to divide, those skills are just so fundamental, and they're the most basic skills to learn in order for you to be successful in algebra. That is because in algebra, like sometimes you have to just find different ways of solving problems. So if you don't know how to divide or like multiply, your skills or your chance of passing is very limited, or being successful is very limited, because you won't be able to figure out other ways of solving the problem if there is one way that you don't know how to do it. Hopefully that makes sense. That's just, you know, I'm only just giving a little bit of like advice for those that are heading into like, you know, algebra, or even algebra 2 or college algebra, excuse me. But yeah. So number 7 says -131, and let me hold on. -131 equals -5 times 3x minus 8 plus 6x, right? And let me go ahead and there we go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and do distributive properties. So you have -131, and then we're gonna distribute our -5. So then we have -5 times 3x, and then plus -5 times -8 plus 6x, right? So then this will be -131 is equal to -15x, and then -5 times -8 is +40, and then plus 6x, right? So -15x plus 6x, that is basically -9x. So we have -131 is equal to -9x. So let me just highlight just so you guys understand what I'm doing. So like that. And then plus 40. So then I'm going to subtract 40 on both sides. So then this cancels out. So then since I'm basically doing a negative minus, so basically I'm doing a negative plus a negative here. So I'm going to just go ahead and treat it as if it were addition. So I have 171, so it's -171 actually, and then is equal to -9x. Now, like I said, if they let you use a calculator, you are free to do so. If they don't, you have to understand how it's done without a calculator. So if I do 171 divided by 9, this will give me, so I do 9 times 1, and then 17 minus 9 is 8, and I bring down my 1, so it's 81, and then I will do 9 times 9 is 81, and then this subtracts, and then I will be left with a remainder of 0. So my answer is x equals 19. Okay. we're almost done, guys. Just 3 more problems, and then that'll be it for this stream. So number 8 says, so give me 1 second. Number 8 says negative 7x minus 10 equals 18 plus 3x. So again, what you're gonna do first is you're gonna add 7x on both sides, and this side gets crossed out. So then we have negative 10 equals 18, and then 3x plus 7x is 10x. So then we can subtract 18 on both sides, and we're left with negative 28 is equal to 10x. Now, we can divide by 10 on both sides, and we can simplify this expression. We can say that x, and like I said, if you have negative 28 over 10, you divide by 2 on top and bottom, and you are left with negative 14 over 5, and that would be your answer. Or you would also, I mean, you can also do it in decimal form, but that is, if it is multiple choice, I would, you know, it just depends on how the professor or the teacher wants it. I'm not 100% sure. If they do ask for it in decimal form, what you have to do is you just have to do negative 14 over 5 and just put a 0.0 here. And you just like divide it using long division. So you would say, you would put a 2 and then it would be 10. So then, I mean, you wouldn't put negative 14, but really, like, the only difference between 14 over 5 and negative 14 over 5 is that this one is negative. Okay, that's the only difference. So you can do 14 over 5 and it'll give you the decimal, and all you have to do is put the negative in there. So if we do 14 over 5, we have 10, so it's 5 times 2, which is 10. We have a remainder of 4, and then we put a 0.0 here, and we bring down the 0. So then 4.0 over 5, obviously 40 divided by 5 is 8, so we're going to put an 8 right here, and then we just finish it off. And so our answer in decimal form is x equals negative 2.8. So this is in mixed number, and this is so this is as a mixed number, and this is as a decimal. Right. Number 9 says, okay, so this one is 12x plus 8 minus 15 equals negative 2 times 3x minus 82, right? So this one is going to be, so this one you're going to do combining like terms. So you have 12x, 8 minus 15 is negative 7. And then this is equal to negative 2, so you're going to just use distributive property over here. Negative 2 times 3x, and then plus negative 2 times negative 82. Then this is going to be 12x minus 7 equals negative 6x, and then 2 times 82, that's literally just 164, so it's going to be plus 164 because the negatives cancel out. So what you're going to do next is you're going to add 6 to both sides. Now, here's the thing. If you have a negative in front of your x or in front of your variable, when it's like, so for example, this problem here, since I have a negative here, I highly recommend that you always look at the most negative number that is in front of your x. It will make the problem a lot easier because that way you don't have to deal with negatives. So this one, we can say plus 6x on both sides, and then we have 18x minus 7 equals 164. Now we can add 7 to both sides, so if we do that, we have plus 7 on both sides. This part cancels out. We're left with 18x equals 164 plus 7, which is 171. And then you're just going to divide by 18 on both sides. Now again, you can do this, like, it just really depends whether or not your professor or your teacher lets you use calculator, but you can do it with a calculator or you can do it with by hand. But it is very important that you know how to divide by hand if they don't let you use a calculator. So this can be x equals 9.5, or if they want you to do it in mixed number, usually if you have TI Inspire, again, you can just put the number or the fraction and it'll give it to you in the most simplified way. So 171 divided by 18 is going to be 19/2. Okay. All right, guys. So this is one. So just one more, and then that'll be it for this video. Or this live stream. Excuse me. So this is the last one. So this is number 10. Negative of the quantity. So anytime you have a parentheses, I always say negative of the quantity because whatever's inside of parentheses is honestly a quantity, right? So we have 12x, negative of 12x minus 6 is equal to 12x plus 6. So if I do distributive property here, I can say this is negative 12x plus 6 equals 12x plus 6. So then we add 12x to both sides, and we are left with 6 is equal to 24x plus 6. Now, if I subtract 6 on both sides, I am left with 24. So I am left with 0 is equal to 24x. And if I divide both sides by 24, it is very obvious that x will be 0. Okay. Alright guys, so that is it for this live stream. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. And I really do appreciate all the subscribers that I have. And for whoever watches this live stream, thank you so much. I hope to, like I said, if you have any questions, you can always let me know. You can always watch my short videos if you're curious about, certain topics. I've made specific playlists about, algebra, trigonometry, pre-calculus, calculus, and also even going up to calculus 2. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for all the support and all the subscribers. I am really thankful, and again, if anybody has any questions, let me know. And so I will see you guys next time. Again, thank you so much for watching, and like I said, please subscribe if you haven't, and I will see